Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk The Walking Dead Q&A number 112. If you're new here and you want to participate, you can find the rules down in that video description, but I want to jump right into this with Ethan C. Between the comic and show, they do parallel. Which do I prefer, and what are my thoughts on the differences between the two? I don't prefer one over the other, to be honest. I love the story of both. There's moments I definitely prefer one over the other, and then there's moments where I enjoy both of them. I think the Billy and Ben stuff and the Carol stuff with Lizzie and Mika is a perfect example of me enjoying the shit out of both of the different stories. In the comic, it was Carl killing Billy or Ben, I forget. The two brothers, one killed one, and then Carl killed the killer, you know what I mean? In the TV show, we had the Lizzie and Mika scene, and I loved them equally. I thought they were awesome. Two cool different stories, and that, I think, is primarily how I feel in the world of The Walking Dead, where we have the comic story, and I'm loving that. And then we have the TV show story, and I'm loving that. Now, between the show and the comic, there's moments I'll love more in the comic, there's moments I'll love more in the show, and then there's moments I will equally love throughout. At the end of the day, I am really glad that we are getting two stories that are different enough and similar enough to make it interesting and also exciting to see the comic brought to the show, because that's where I stand. I love having it interesting and fresh and new, absolutely. But in the same strength, I love the excitement of watching these characters come to the screen, watching the story play out on the screen. So that's where I stand. I love it. I love the separate stories. I love when they connect. I love when they remix it. There are certain points I don't like. There are certain points in the comic book story I don't like. With that being said, I'm just happy we're getting it. Joe V, are you excited for All Out War? How confident am I that they will make it as awesome as the comic book, essentially, is what you're asking. And also, did I play the Season 3 of Telltale Games, The Walking Dead, yet? No, I haven't played Season 3 yet, and I'm a little disappointed by what I hear, I'll be honest with you. I want to dive in, and hopefully those will be out at the back end of January, but I am a little disappointed. I think they should have just went with Clem. Don't give us a new character. You asked if All Out War is going to be as exciting. Yeah, I am really excited for All Out War, and as far as my confidence level, this is rough because there's parts of the show that I did like. I did like No Way Out, absolutely. But I felt like the suspenseful, intense moments in No Way Out was a 7 when it could have been a 10, you know? Now, when I say, oh, I love No Way Out or that episode, I could be like, man, that was like a 9 out of 10, yada, yada, yada. So that's totally different than me right now saying it's a 7 when it could have been a 10. I'm showing you that there could have been a couple more layers of epic awesome, more tension. It just could have been a lot better, I feel, than what they did. And overall, not just that one episode or not just the finale and the premiere. I mean the whole setup. There's little spots here and there I really feel like they could have racked up that tension and really had us on the edge of our seats for a lot of it instead of just hit moments here and there. So my confidence level, because of that alone, is a 50-50 right now. I really feel like they might bring us something, but if I could be honest a moment, I feel like they're going to give us a 7 out of 10. And I feel like they have the potential there to give us, the 9 out of 10. To give us something that is more intense, more suspenseful, more meaningful, more action-packed, more impactful. Yeah, I can't really place my finger on it because it's such a general thing, and I feel like there's so many different things going on that make it, not as suspenseful and takes away some of the tension as opposed to something else they could have done, So, moving on, we got Linda G. Carol. And you asked what's up with her. Will All Out War snap Carol back into being the badass? Yeah, you know what? No, I don't think they can go that route, honestly, because they've been developing Carol having this problem for so long now, and it's such an important part in the story. Having her go, oh, Negan killed Glenn and Abraham? Nah, get my guns, give me armor, give me a car with spikes on it. I'm going to kick ass. Give me the sniper rifle, or I should have said the sniper rifle in the poncho, the Terminus Terminator. I don't see them doing that with her because she's changing. To stop that now it would all be filler. It would all be filler, and that's such a damn shame. They need to do something with her that's going to connect to the story that they've been doing. Now, she could be a badass still, but in a different way. Instead of just being like, okay, kill, 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 they might do something slightly different with her. That's something, I'll be honest, I'm more interested in seeing that than I am with her just being like, no, fuck this, I'm gonna kill again. You know what I mean? Mason G. Eugene's storyline in 7B, how will it play out, and any significance to his story being pushed forward? I don't think there's any significance at all. You have Eugene taken in the comic, he's taken in the show. It doesn't matter when. You know what the key is, the most important point? The area where they made the bullet, the building they made the bullets, because that's where all the tools are. Without those tools, you can't make the bullets. So I feel like Negan's going to want to use Eugene to his, use his talents. So will Eugene give up the location of the building? If Eugene does that, then I feel like that is going to affect the story a lot. It doesn't matter that he took Eugene. We'll see where he's at. It'll set up and establish where he's at, how he's being treated, and I'm talking the sanctuary, obviously. Set up maybe even Negan poking prod and trying to find out where he made the bullet. Maybe they don't have time. That could be the genius behind the DARYL escape. Maybe Negan's going to use Eugene for his talents, but hold on. DARYL left, killed Joey, Negan's pissed. All right, throw Eugene in a hole. We'll deal with him later. That's when his story and Dwight's story connects. Dwight can help him get out, and then Eugene never releases the information or the location, and then he can get back and still make the bullets. Now that gets a little tricky now because we just had DARYL get back, and then Eugene, it can't be right away, but it can't be forever. So that's tricky and still interesting. So I'm still curious to see what they're going to do. Josh J. Negan's reaction to Joey's death and DARYL escaping, or Maggie's reaction. Now here's the thing, with Joey's death, DARYL escaping, I feel like Negan's going to be pissed, right? He's going to want to look for DARYL, but I feel like Negan's smart enough to realize that DARYL would not risk going back to Alexandria. DARYL didn't risk going back to Alexandria. That's not where he went. He went to the hilltop. Now, does Negan know? Is he a little suspicious? He might start getting suspicious, and I think this is an interesting way to insert some suspense, some tension into the storyline, because now you have a suspicious Negan. Before, we didn't see any of this. Do they know about each other's storyline? Now we have a Negan who's like, okay, DARYL escaped. He's not going to go back to Alexandria. He won't risk him like that. Where will he go? Is he out there living on his own? For how long? He's going to pop his head up sooner or later. He will go back to them sooner or later. Maybe not right away. So I'll set my people up here and there. We'll watch the communities. Maybe he's going to go to the communities. Maybe he's going to even try to go to Kingdom for the first time. This is where you build up some of that tension now. With Maggie, though, no, that's the moment where it's going to be war. When Negan finds out Maggie's alive, it's on. I feel it's war. And I feel like because of that, it should be at a moment where maybe at the very end of the season, Rick thinks he has the upper hand on Negan. Negan gets the upper hand on Rick, and it's a showdown moment. And then Maggie shows up saving the day, and Negan looks over and he's like, fucking Rick, you lying dick. But he's pissed, he's fuming, but he can't do anything about it because Maggie shows up with reinforcements. I don't think that's going to happen at all. That would be a stretch if they rushed into that much. Absolutely. But I feel like something like that should be the moment where Negan finds out Maggie is not dead. Back to Lewis, Holly's death and remix. For those who just watched the TV show, they did this already. Exactly in Fear the Walking Dead, where they did the boat switcheroo. So I think because of that, they might honestly just skip it. And you did ask what leads up to that and yada yada yada. I do believe that most likely should be the beginning of the war. Like a couple battles rage on, and then Negan's like, you know what, Rick, this is stupid, this is dumb. Negan and Rick have an altercation, and then Negan's confronted to start the war. After that, the second altercation after the official war, Negan's like, Rick, this is dumb. Here, I'm reasonable, let's discuss this. You don't want to be controlled by me, fine, but let's chat it out. I don't want to lose a lot of guys. You don't want to lose a lot of guys. Let's cut the bullshit. If you don't like what we have to say, we'll fight anyway. Knock it off, Rick. Don't be a dick. Here, I will give you a gift. I will give you your person back. And Rick could be like, well, let me get my people safe, my person safe, and then I'll entertain his ideas for a moment and then figure out a way to just kill him anyway, So then they bring in the person, and that's how I think, or I feel that's the vibe of the scene. They might definitely remix it or skip it, though, because Fear the Walking Dead went ahead and did it already. Billy McLeish, one or more big deaths in 7B, question mark. This is difficult. We don't need it. Not right now. We have enough motivation to go to war. We absolutely don't need it. However, you'll have to break down the characters, but it gets a little tricky. For example, let's look at the Hilltop. You got Maggie, leader. No, she's safe. Enid is Comic Sophia, kind of sort of remixed. She's safe. And then you got Sasha, who might honestly be a remix for a character in the comic book named Brianna. I keep forgetting her name. But she was a resident at Hilltop, and it always felt kind of flat, but it added a little bit of realism to it, and that's why I like the comic version, because this isn't some superstar killer badass bitch, This is just another resident in Alexandria that became friends with Maggie, and then as the years went on, they're close friends. They're really close friends. And again, this is not a major character that's her best friend. So I thought it added realism to it, but in the same strength, I think that this works for the show very, very well, because you have characters who know each other, who have a history together. With that being said, they might utilize Sasha being taken out to push Maggie's story forward, or to push some kind of story forward. I get nervous because of that casting, but in the same strength, I'm like, man, I want her and this trio to continue. Sasha, Maggie, Enid, fuck yes, have them do the Maggie, Sophia, Brianna story from the new beginning. So I'm voting that trio stays. Now you look at Alexandria, you're like, Rick, never dying. Michonne, never dying. Not yet anyway. Maybe for a few more seasons. Carl, he's safe. Who else we got at Alexandria? No, Daryl, well, let's say Daryl, even though we don't know where he's going to rest officially. He's safe for now because his story links up and is connected to Negan and Dwight. Father Gabriel, I think, unfortunately, he might be on the chopping block any moment now, because they're doing a lot of great stuff with his character, and I'm afraid they're going to use his character to jumpstart something, or maybe even just have some interesting death there. That character redeemed himself a lot, so I'm afraid they're going to pull on our heartstrings with that character dying. Let's look at Carol and Morgan. Carol's connecting with Ezekiel, so neither one of those are dying anytime soon, not this season. Morgan, he's one I'm nervous about. Yes, once Morgan makes the connection with Rick and Ezekiel and all that, his storyline's probably like, what next, So I feel like once they make that connection, I'm nervous for Morgan. So if they do that early on in the first half of season 7, yeah, I'm nervous for Morgan. I'm nervous for Sasha. Daryl, once they make the connection with Dwight and Negan, okay, I'm nervous for Daryl now. And I know I'm forgetting a bunch of characters, but I will have to look back and see and maybe do a prediction video on it. But it all depends on what they're doing with the overall story, with the characters. And I feel like at this point in time, I don't know about 2. We might get 1. I feel like because it's ending a season, we are unfortunately going to get a death. We have to. I am hoping that whatever death we get, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, whether it's 1 main character, 2 minor characters, 3 minor characters, 1 minor character and no one else, I'm hoping they die because it fits the story and pushes it forward, instead of simply being, well, the season's coming to an end, we need to kill somebody, With that being said, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below on that. Remember, predictions only, no spoilers, and if you don't want to know any spoilers whatsoever, avoid comment sections the best you can. Leave a comment, give your thoughts and opinions, but just don't go snooping around. That's the best thing for you, because I have a sneaking suspicion that everything from now until the end of the season is spoiled. Alright, Al D. Will they escalate things and bring the war on quicker? How will Morgan and Carol react to the deaths? I don't think they will escalate things to bring the war quicker. No, I don't think that. I think everything's going to have a nice pace, a proper pace. Now, as far as Morgan and Carol, Carol is the wild card. I honestly don't know. I really don't know. Morgan, I do feel like Morgan is, they're pushing his character towards having to fight. Having to kill eventually. I think he's going to fight that urge, and I think he might even become one of the, and I think this would be incredible, but imagine Morgan just snapping at one point and being like a beast on the battlefield, just taking out, warehouse, outpost full of people. Obviously, he's not any good with a gun. I think we've established that before, even though he did shoot that guy, but he says he's better with a stick. So, we don't have to get the badass Morgan, but I think that would be friggin' epic if he just snaps finally and he's just like killing them all. But I do want to see this kind of tear Morgan apart some, because I think the actor is the most interesting, and he can definitely handle that type of material. But when it comes to Carol, I don't know, because after what she said, after hearing that this gang could just kill them at any minute, whenever they get bored, and she's just like, I don't care. Even if you run into DARYL, don't tell him you found me. If you run into Rick, Carl, like anybody, just don't tell them you found me. After that point, once she said that, I was like, fuck, man. Fuck you, bitch. It's hard, but it's difficult, and I'm hoping they do something to redeem that aspect of the character, because I think Melissa McBride kicks some ass. That she can act her ass off. So I do want to see her in more interesting and emotional situations, and not just this cold, flat, I don't care, I want to be left alone. It's cold and it's flat, and I don't enjoy it as much as I do, Carol with Mika and Lizzie. Like, that shit was crushing. That was epic and iconic. This Carol, it makes it feel like I don't care. Thoughts and opinions in that comment box. That's all we got for today. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.